In the quiet hours of the night, when most families are asleep and streets are empty, some of the most terrifying crimes in American history have taken place. These are not just murders. These are mysteries that have remained unsolved for decades. No final arrests, no clear confessions, only disturbing crime scenes, strange clues, and unanswered questions that still haunt investigators and families today. In 1912, the small town of Villisca, Iowa, was shaken by what became known as the Villisca Axe Murders. 8 people, including 6 children, were killed inside their own home while they slept. The killer used an axe that belonged to the house. After the murders, the bodies were covered with sheets and mirrors were covered with cloth. Investigators believe the killer stayed inside the house for some time after the attack. There were suspects, including a traveling preacher, and even trials were held, but no one was ever convicted. More than a century later, the case remains officially unsolved, leaving behind fear, speculation, and one of the most chilling crime scenes in American history. During the 1930s, Cleveland, Ohio, faced a series of horrifying killings now known as the Cleveland Torso Murders. Over several years, multiple victims were found dismembered and left in open areas. Some were never identified. The killer was given the nickname Mad Butcher of Kingsbury Run. The crimes created widespread panic, especially because the murderer seemed organized and careful. Law enforcement worked tirelessly, and there were strong suspicions about certain individuals, but there was never enough evidence to bring a solid conviction. The brutality and lack of answers continue to disturb people to this day. In 1981, a quiet cabin community in California became the site of the Keddie Cabin Murders. Multiple victims were found murdered inside Cabin 28. The crime scene showed signs of extreme violence, and 2 children were initially missing. One child was later found alive, but another remained missing for years before remains were discovered. What makes this case especially unsettling is that investigators believed they were close to solving it at different points. There were suspects, reported confessions, and physical evidence. However, mistakes in handling evidence and possible lost recordings damaged the investigation. Despite renewed efforts decades later, no one has been officially convicted. One of the most famous unsolved murders in the United States is the killing of Elizabeth Short in 1947. Her case became widely known as the Black Dahlia murder. Her body was discovered in Los Angeles in a disturbing and carefully staged condition that shocked the nation. The media coverage was intense, turning the case into a national obsession. Over the years, many suspects were questioned. Some even confessed, but their statements did not match the evidence. Despite massive attention and countless theories, the case remains unsolved, continuing to fascinate and disturb true crime followers. In 2017, the small town of Delphi, Indiana, was shaken by the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. The 2 girls were hiking when they encountered a man on a bridge. One of them managed to secretly record a short video and audio clip of the suspect. That recording became one of the most haunting pieces of modern evidence in an unsolved case. For years, investigators followed leads and analyzed tips from the public. The case showed that even with smartphones and advanced forensic tools, solving a murder can still be incredibly complex and slow. These cases share unsettling similarities. Many happened in quiet communities where violence was rare. In several situations, there were no clear signs of forced entry. In others, witnesses reported strange behavior before the crime, but did not realize its importance until it was too late. Early investigative mistakes, limited forensic science in older cases, and lost or damaged evidence all played a role in preventing closure. Unsolved murders leave more than crime scene photos and police reports. They leave families without justice. They leave towns with lingering fear. And they leave questions that may never be fully answered. Who committed these crimes? How did they escape without being identified? And could the truth still be hidden in evidence waiting to be re-examined? Until new breakthroughs happen, these cases remain some of the creepiest unsolved murders in the United States, chilling reminders that sometimes the most frightening mysteries are the ones that never find an ending.